Welcome back to the Thrifty Suburbanite channel. As you can see, I have stacks and stacks of firewood in the backyard. In fact, it's the fence along the backyard here between the house and the woods. I burn this every year. The problem is in the summertime, these couple racks down near the end here are kind of in the woods. It rains on them and it takes a lot longer to dry than the ones out there in the sun. So what I'm going to try to do is to create a roof over at least these two. Well, this one's done already. I just threw something together to prove my concept that it was going to work. It's going to work. I want to do it on the bigger one now. Problem is the span on the bigger one's 10 feet. That one was less than 6. So these rinky-dink things that I used here, these 1/2 inch by 3.5 inch slats on a pallet, probably aren't going to work for there. I'll have to double them up or do something else. On the top, it's just regular sheet roofing, 5-rib roofing. Most of the panels I have here are from when I made a chicken coop. So they've been sitting in the woods collecting dust and dirt grime. There is another new one there that I bought a while ago and I never used it. So we'll be using that on this here too. Let me show you how I made this first one over here. Here you can see the galvanized 5-rib on top. A lot of this, like I said, was cut off, so it's not even straight. In the center here, this is our pallet piece. There's stringers that go underneath. Not a whole lot of them, but just enough to be effective. This whole thing is lightweight. We don't get much snow load around here. The only thing I'm really worried about is rain getting on the firewood. So on the right is the one we've made. On the left is the one we're going to make now. This one's a little bit, this firewood rack's a little bit more substantial as far as construction's concerned. 2x6 is all around, all the way down to concrete blocks on the ground. In the center it's got a 2x6 support. It goes back, everything is carriage bolted together. Okay, step one. I got 2 of my pieces of pallet. I put the rough cut side out on purpose because I think it looks cooler. On the back I have 4 inches marked. So this is going to go along this edge 4 inches. What you really have to be careful of with this stuff is you can't just go through it with a self-tapping deck screw. It's going to split. Got to pilot hole first. And you take it with the driver. So we're going to get 2 of these on the front, and the backs are just going to be the way they are because we're going to run down this way. Something I did with this when I made it the log carrier in the back of the tractor, so I put this little piece of wood on top. So I anticipated I'd be using it for a sawing device, and I do. Works very well in that respect. I'm going to leave it about equal distance between the front and back because there's going to be other pieces of wood on both sides. And then I'm just going to clamp this on. And that pretty much holds it for the back too. I put it on with 2 screws right in here. Be so careful going into that because it's thin and it'll split right out. Okay. On to the other end, do the same thing, and then we're going to run the front and back. And we got to figure out how to make them. Here's the Thrifty Suburbanite supplies for the beam across the front and the back. Now I know that these aren't long enough, so there's other ones here that's going to help out too. These things are so warped, you have to kind of match them up to one that's warped about the same, and the thickness is off too. That's a good 1/4 inch off. these two sides. So I'm going to try to look for another one like this, that's straight. Leave this one out of the mix. We'll use that for bracing. I'm at least going to double these up, stagger some joints, and try to get some decent ones to put together. Glue and screw them. So this is basically what it's going to look like. It's got the header goes across the front, which is a bunch of 1x6 or whatever you call these screwed together. I just did this real quick. There's a storm coming. I want to get it done in the front. That's all it is. A couple pieces scabbed together. It looks rickety, but the idea is for this to look old and broken down and whatever. In a couple years that'll age even more. And I put black screws in there. You can't see them. Okay, we're going to need two measurements. One inside of this frame at the ends I put on, 119 3/8. And I'm going to need one from here. One 7 7/8. Let's get to it. Okay, it looks about like it up in there. I feel funny about calling these things joists, but that's the only word I can use to describe them. All right, go around the back. Now I'm going to locate a piece of tin on the top. Try to get a couple screws in and get this at least located. Quarter-inch hex bit for these screws on the roofing tin. I'm going to hit the back first. There we go. Right on that edge. Let's see how we did here. Doesn't want to go up there. There we go. Yeah, we're fine. And that's the idea right now. Okay, panel located. Most of the roof panels are on. I'm at the last piece here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this around the corner. I'm worried about getting cut going around this corner here. This is the way I access the woods on this end of the wood stack. And I already bent this down on the edge here. Screw it in a couple times, keep that from snagging my face when I walk through here. I'm gonna have to cut the tree or yew bush or whatever this thing is back a little bit so I'm not so close to it when I walk through. Okay, this is the idea for keeping me from hitting my head on this metal right here. I'm going to take and you're going to put some quick seal in here all the way down. Really going to load this thing up. Now I'm going to press it on there. This is supposed to be clear. It looks white, but it's not. Trust me. Ooh. This is harder than I thought it was going to be. I made a little 45 here at the top, trying to get fancy. I don't know. As long as it stays on here. As long as I don't poke my eye out or some kid comes wheeling along and gets hit. It's fine with me. Just want it to stay on there. I'll go along the edges too and put some in there. Maybe that'll help keep it on. One last little thing I'm going to do to wrap this up is I'm going to run this flapper disc along where I cut it with the grinder. There's some really rough spots in here. Not worried about myself most of the time. I'm wearing gloves. So if anybody come to help me with the firewood or whatever, I just want to get roughed up along in here. So that's going to be a wrap for this one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you see. Have a good day.